Hey, welcome everybody to Battle Pirates Crib, Bounty 21, Shipwrecks, and also right before the show, Chris dropped the
Hang on.
Shipwrecks, and also right before the show,
Someone's got a YouTube on.
I'll see. Okay, that's fixed. Where was I? Oh, just dropped the new building content that we're going to get to. But let me go ahead and introduce everybody from left to right. Magic Mike.
He went to get a beer.
Okay. We'll just say that's what he did. Lady Cat.
Hello.
Ben.
Hello, everyone.
Aussie.
Hello.
And this is Hefe. And sorry, everybody, about whatever happened on Wednesday. Still not completely certain. Everything was sort of broken for 24 hours. Just so you all know that unless you're signed up for preferred partner or whatnot with YouTube, your customer support with YouTube is worse than it is with anything you've run across with Kickside. So just so you know. Okay. Has anybody been participating in Bounty?
Yep.
Yes.
How's that going for everybody?
Oh, the first couple hours was awesome.
It was amazing. I wasn't going to do bounty. I was not going to do bounty, but I did bounty for the first 2 hours. I haven't really done it since, but yeah, it was fun for a couple hours.
Yeah, I hit the Kickside employee bases and got enough points for what I needed, and I'm done. You know, because it's the same old grind as the last 20.
Yeah, if they put more of those Kickside employee replica bases out, I'd start playing again, and I'd start coining again because I had to coin a couple of small repairs. Just hinting to the Kickside people listening.
Yeah, and Aussie, in your time zone, it's a good thing you're up 24 hours a day. You probably ran into those, but probably most of your neighbors that play Battle Pirates probably completely missed that.
I didn't actually do them. I didn't
Okay.
start bouncy until later.
Okay.
About 12 hours later, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you don't admit that. That's what makes it hard. There's people playing this game all over the world, and even the people on this continent are in different time zones. So just having those for the first couple of hours wasn't fair to the entire player base.
Yeah.
So it'd be kind of nice if they just would do them.
Was that an error on their part, or did something?
No, that was the announcement from the start.
That's what they
didn't.
said.
Okay, I didn't see it.
But I didn't realize it was going to be so beneficial.
Well, it sounds like they were just giveaways.
They weren't giveaways.
Okay.
Well, if you're a PvPer, there were giveaways. But if you're like me, a PvEer, some of them were difficult, some of them weren't so bad. And I didn't know till I tried them which ones I could do. I figured it out pretty quickly. But those bases were worth anywhere from 1,000 to like 2.5. Hey, I mean, yeah. So once I figured out the ones I could hit, I had to coin because there's some I couldn't do. But once I figured out the ones I could hit, then that's what I did for probably an hour and a half. And it was fun.
Yes.
But it's not fun now. So people are hitting me. I'm losing resources, but whatever.
Yeah, see, I didn't want to start bounty. If I do bounty, I don't start it until a little bit later because I've got kids to drop off and I've got to go out, so I don't want to leave unsecured bounty for very long. So once I start, I don't stop until I've got at least the first one secured. So I just didn't start it. I just don't like starting until a bit later.
mean,
Yeah, personally, I haven't participated in the bounty yet. I was waiting to see what the lag factor was going to be. And how is that for everybody?
Mine's all right. I don't really have a problem at the moment. We will say.
Okay.
Mine started out good, but then it got
Mm.
bad. And this morning it was bad again. I don't have trouble with lag so much in the battles, but just getting around the map
yes.
mostly where I have the biggest problem.
Which
Yeah.
is odd considering, during raid we have more targets than this. So yeah, I don't understand why these particular. I assume it's got to be the opponent base's targets or create the lag as opposed to, everybody had tons of 80s or we have FM targets all over the place. It's just odd that we've run into this problem for so long.
Maybe it's the number of people on the server.
Yeah, but you think there's more people doing this than raid?
No.
Nah.
Yeah.
You say there's less targets, but it's actually more targets on the map because during bounty we have the base parts, uranium, titanium, all available too.
Hey, girly.
Where during raids and that we don't.
What's wrong with you?
So I don't know what it is. So I did not have a bit of lag till I clicked the join button.
Okay. Alrighty. Ben, you're getting quite a bit of background noise, so if you could.
I'll mute.
Okay. So, I don't know. Do we have anything on bounty? Or there's been a lot of new information that's dropped today. We could talk about if nobody else has anything on bounty. We talked about it on Wednesday, as far as what a lot of the content was, and I think the consensus was that the big content drop was the addition of 3 additional HD transformers. But any more on bounty that people like to talk about?
No.
Okay. Well, if not, we can move on to the other stuff and come back with that later, especially if we get some people from the YouTube audience to join us.
Yeah, come on, people.
Yeah, but we'll cover this in the meantime until they decide to join up. So I'll put you on present and let everybody know where we are on the calendar at this point. Whoops, it's all covered up for me. So let me. Right now we're in bounty, and they gave us a new hull silo of interceptors. When we first read this, I didn't think it was going to be a full fleet only available to 3 people, but that's the way it is. 15 people can get up to 1 or more hulls. Next week we are going to talk about both shipwrecks. We've got very little information, limited information on that one, but we have some, and we have more detailed information on the new building content and price adjustments. This dropped right before the show, so the slides were a little last minute, haphazard. So, but let's go on to the next one, see what we got. Alrighty. There is an FM this week. It's not included here. But the important thing is shipwrecks. A brand new activity. They're been described before, and we talked about them on Wednesday. They're basically originally a PvE target with a timer on them that allows you to capture them, and after some period of time, we went into more detail on this on Wednesday, and I'm sorry for the YouTube snafu. It's on my personal account. It's actually not on here. People want to know more. We'll probably talk about it more on Wednesday when they release the brief for this and give us more details. but basically, you're going to hit those targets with any of your PvP ships, and then whenever they might time out, you will get some sort of a reward. Right now, it looks all we're given information about is building upgrades from an event store. So we will generate points, and the following day we will get a diary from Chris, and we'll find out if his favorite color has changed at all. We assume it hasn't. So, but it is a little weird. The fact, in my mind, that they're releasing this shipwreck functionality and event prior to more than 3 people having a full fleet. Because I don't think most people built their PvP ships for fleet versus fleet. Because I would tend to encourage speed, range, things of that nature, which is you might go more for damage and building turret defense and other things because you're normally hitting bases with these. So it feels a little backwards to me. If you can click one more, and then if anybody has anything to say about any of this. Any thoughts, anybody?
I have no idea how to do fleet versus fleet with PvP anymore. Other
Nope.
than using gluts, and I haven't changed the build on those, so I don't think they work either.
Yeah. And it really depends on the way it's structured. It could be mainly a PvE event. Really depends on how those timers are set for the structures like we talked about on the Wednesday show. And we'll talk a bit about this on the next Wednesday show when they provide us more details on this event. Hey, Cuttlefish, how are you doing?
Oh, not too bad. How are you all doing?
Oh, pretty good. Pretty good. You have anything on Shipwrecks or Bounty before we proceed?
Well, I did the start of the bounty, and I took advantage of the Kixeye employee basis. I made 45,000 or so in the first 2 hours,
Nice.
and I haven't touched them since. I haven't done anything in the bounty since. I've just lost the will to do any more.
Yeah,
Unless those come back.
exactly.
So
No.
once your sugar mama went away, you're not going back.
The 84s out there, if you click on the Kixeye employee bases and that flag comes up, you can see the level in there.
Yeah, I think that's
And-
Golden Doodle.
Yeah, there's an 84 and a 92 out there. That 84 was one breacher. You know, you could do that with some missile cruisers. No heavy turrets, nothing. And that could pay out up to 2,400. Super sweet.
Okay.
But my
Well-
question about shipwrecks is, when he says any PvP ships, does that include defenders? I mean,
Well, my original question was, does this only include Conquerors? And he came back with any PvP ship. So I'm assuming it does include Defenders. So,
then I have 2 further questions. One,
okay.
how does the Interceptor do? Does it have any anti-sub capabilities? Because if not, they're just dead to gluttonies every single time.
Well, okay. The way I understand it, the Interceptor is our ship. We're fighting something else. Right now, there's only going to be 3 people that go into this event that have a fleet of Interceptors. There'll be up to 15 people across the game that have one. So the Interceptors isn't really, that's why I find it a little bit backwards that I think this event is built for Interceptors, but, nobody has them yet. So it just feels a little bit, a little bit too early in the process.
Right.
So, and nobody has the details of the actual Interceptors at this point, as far as capabilities, function, and whatnot. So,
But we do know we need to hold the shipwrecks for no more than an hour, right?
Yeah, and that's the max end. So it could be
That means I
5
could go
minutes.
in and
5
that-
minutes if for lower end prizes, and maybe a half hour for higher end prizes. I don't know.
And then-
It hasn't been really thoroughly explained to us at this point, and that's why I'm hoping next Wednesday we'll have a lot more details. But go ahead, yeah.
It's going to
Sorry.
cost a lot more to repair our PvP ships than it would be the interceptors.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what, and our PvP ships have not been built for ship versus ship content or combat.
Yeah, this event might not be executed as well as they hoped it would be.
Either that, or it's going to be a gimme. They're just trying to break in the process, so we may have I was pissed about this at the beginning, and then I was like, why are they doing it this way? And the only thing that I can think of is that they would make it compatible to the players, because who the hell wants to sit around and basically a PvE event and sit around and hit a target and sit there and watch your ships for an hour? I mean, that doesn't sound like a lot of fun. And in the description, some of them were alliance targets, which feels more like the Golden Nexus. So I don't expect the hour is really what everybody should expect. I think that's the high end for the highest value targets, because otherwise it does not. It goes back to a really dark. People talk about Blackwater, but there was a darker time at the beginning of Blackwater where you sat around and you hit a mine and you had to sit there and watch your target for 6-8 hours, afraid of somebody else coming in and hitting it, or the Drax relaunching and coming to get it. And I was really surprised the game survived after a couple of months of that. So I just don't. I think the hour is. I think that's at the top end. So I could be wrong. It's just me speculating on this until next Wednesday or next Tuesday when we get more information from a briefing, and then once we actually see it on the Wednesday.
See, in holding these shipwrecks for an hour, I assume or up to an hour, I assume other people are going to be able to attack us.
Yes.
Doesn't that kind of imply that we should have two different types of fleets? That we go in with the interceptors and we clear it, and then we hold it with something more solid.
Assuming you have a retreat button. Yeah, there's a lot of details that I've been wondering about. There's also, I talked about on the Wednesday show as far as some of the way the system could be gamed. Because I did ask the question, can somebody from your own alliance hit a shipwreck that you own? Is there a battle timer? Things like that. Because you could, if you just want to tie it up, have one of your buddies in your alliance, maybe, or outside of your alliance, hit it, and you both park in the corner till it's over, or until that timer runs out. So there's a lot of mechanics that I don't feel are fully worked out yet, or at least they might have been worked out. They just haven't been presented to us at this point in time.
I'm also worried about what they're going to pay out in the alliance ones. Like if they put in kits in there, then, let's be honest. I mean, if it's anything like the Golden Nexus, only the big boys are going to hold them.
Well, but that's 3 per world or something. What happens if there's, 100 in a sector? We don't. Your speculation is good. I mean, I agree that it's with the information we got, which is minimal. It could be just fraught with a lot of issues, and I agree that it's worthy of concern. It's just
And they did put in a new mechanic into the Alliance ones. There's that red ring around there.
Yeah, the contested waters.
And that kind of implies that we will be able to hit ships that are moving.
Yes, yes, that's
That
been
is-
confirmed. I think that's what. Yeah,
Wow.
you're able to hit ships that are within that ring, and they slow down to make it actually easier for you to hit them.
Okay, that is a brand new mechanic. That's actually very interesting.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and right now we're doing a lot of speculation on this, and we don't really know. I'm just hoping, at some point when Kix does release the information, that they might include some of these things that we have questions about. So, but yeah, it just feels too early unless it's sort of a gimme in my mind that it's got a 2-minute timer, and you have to sit there and wait for 2 minutes and see if somebody attacks you. And then it also really depends on the number of targets on the map, whether somebody's going to bother to attack you. If you take, instant repair damage, knocking out the target, and it's not worth it for somebody to come and potentially get, hours and hours of damage, losing their PvP fleet, that they'll just move on to the next one that's unoccupied, assuming that we can find them through the locator and things like that. So, yeah, it's sometimes they say they give us just enough information to scare us on certain things. So, any more shipwreck stuff? Aussie, Mike, Lady Cat?
Totally confused.
Oh, I
Whoa,
probably won't be
whoa.
doing it anyway.
No, don't go. It's almost like I didn't exist on Wednesday because I don't remember any of it. So just go on, and I'll have to do some reading, catch up.
Okay. If there's any specific questions, it'd be a good time to. I'm sure a lot of people have the questions because you read through the forum posts that they make and whatnot.
Well, it sounds like I didn't read it all. That's the problem.
Okay.
It harkens back to the way back, like you said, when you were holding the salvages and whatnot, hoping somebody didn't come and hit you, or they didn't send in a Kixeye fleet way back. It almost sounds like that again. In fact, when you were starting to talk about it, that's what I was thinking about. And it's like, crap, in PvP ships, I don't know if I got a PvP ship that'll fight another one.
Yeah, I mean that's the only reason that, it could really crash and burn if there is a lot of because people could sour on this if they have to, especially the way it's presented. Okay, you hit some target that's a PvE target, you capture it, and then an hour of sitting around, and somewhere within in the last 2 minutes, somebody can swoop down, kill your ship, and you've spent an hour just staring at the screen, and now you have 10 hours of repair.
Yeah,
so that sounds like a disaster.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's like I totally agree.
Who in these days, assuming it is an hour, who these days has that kind of patience to do anymore? I don't think I know a single person, not even me.
Let me reverse that question. What could they possibly put in these shipwrecks that would keep you parked, glued to your chair for an hour watching that fleet?
It better be something good, cut off.
What if they were free repair? What if it didn't cost you to repair?
Then they would not have any impetus to have an event, I don't think.
Well, I think what they're hopefully what they're going to do is give us like a 1-minute timer, a 2-minute timer, a sort of a soft opening, like we got with the upgrades. Where at first, when we got the upgrades, you got enough tokens to deal with all of them.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of collecting the kits, collecting the upgrade tokens, and boom, it was done. Until the point where like, oh, you can't even use generic build tokens or tokens for that ship on them. Right. See, I'm hoping that they're going for the soft opening where, tons of targets, 2 minutes, 1 minute, whatever, and you can collect your points and do whatever. And it's not really, unless there's somebody that has a hard on for you, they're not going to attack that because they realize they're potentially signing up for 10 hours of damage.
I think you're right. There's still a lot of unknowns that probably won't come to light until Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, and Wednesday, because
Well,
I think
yes, as early as
target
Tuesday.
timers,
Mhm.
target timers, and target density are going to be big things that I don't think we'll see in the briefing. We'll see prizes. We'll see more about the mechanic. But I don't think we're going to see that stuff until we actually start. So,
Did you all notice that the interceptors are not in the shipyard?
I was just looking through there.
So that means Kixeye is offering a prize which they have not put into the game yet.
Yeah, which is odd because when did the leaderboard prize awards happen? I think they're on Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday.
It's surprisingly
and so
right after the patch.
That's after the next. That's after the next update. So I'm assuming in the next update, they'll be incorporated into the game. I could be wrong on that. If anybody wants to let me know, there was a date and time associated with the leaderboard prizes, and I think it's after the next update. So it's like Wednesday or Thursday of next week. So so those people will still have to build them and do whatever.
Time will tell.
So okay. Any more thoughts on Shipwrecks before we go to anything associated with the battle? I'm sorry, the building improvements, changes, whatnot, and some changes to the cost. I don't think we got the changes to the cost really in there, except for the new stuff. They've rebalanced some stuff, but it came out too late to really try and capture everything that's in that post as far as slides.
Nope.
No.
Okay. And too many chores now, so no time for shipwrecks or reeks. I'm not sure if you did that intentionally, but I think they're going to add this in as like a bonus to events. If you don't want to do bounty, you can go and hit shipwrecks and get bounty points. So these are things that they mentioned on Discord, or maybe raid point. I don't know. So we'll see as it goes on the kind of prizes. I don't think these are meant to be your normal chore type of things, but it really depends. I think it's more of a tool that they'll bring out when they choose.
Hopefully they don't turn into a tool.
Yeah.
Too late.
Yes. All right. They've released a brief recently that has a cost for the last 3 levels of being 4 days plus, 5 days plus, and 6 days plus for each one of these things. I think that slide comes later, but let's talk about some of the benefits that come with each one. And it costs a bunch of resources and whatnot, but that comes later. But just for like level 14 is going to be 4 days, 4 days plus, 5 days plus, 6 days plus for the 16. So it's the first one for the advanced lab is a refit time on all hull specials, which seems pretty specific.
That's a pretty significant reduction at the top level, 30%. Considering
it's going to take me about half a month to do this, though. But yes, It is. No, I agree. It's significant as far as the 30% reduction, but I think a lot of it as we go through this, like pick which one are you going to do first. I haven't had a chance to really do that in my mind, but 10, 20, 30 for hull specials. Why just refits? Because they got a lot of labs. There's going to be other stuff. So let's look at the next one. Intelligence lab. This is for the hull upgrades. So 5, 10, 15% for the upgrades.
as a note, you can do this one right now.
Up to which level?
I think I did upgrade 1 and 2, so I guess I'm up at 13 now. But yeah,
Okay.
you don't get the benefits of these, but you can actually just upgrade the building. I was out of turrets, so it was either that or fortifying.
Yeah. As I recall, somebody asked me what the benefit was. Yeah, because my intelligence lab is higher than it provides any benefit, and I remember somebody asking what that did, and I guess we found out what it does at this point. So, yeah, and Captain Lockheed brings up a good point. This also allows them to increase all these things to account for it, which is, a cynical way to look at it, but it's also it's, it's somebody that's played the game before. That's all I got to say.
He's looking at it through Kixeye colored glasses.
Yes, that's no. I agree with him, but it's cynical, and I'm in agreement with him that it allows for these things to be, increased on their side.
If you get this the intelligence lab up to level 13, you might be able to store up enough tokens to instantly upgrade something like a breacher or a basilisk, because they're like 11 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
That should do it.
Yeah, and the one thing I found is they've intentionally made all those upgrade times bulky. It's like one day, it was always like ends on like 15 hours or something like that, except for a couple of them. Because personally, I look at doing upgrades or builds or things that are going to tie up my shipyard based on when I'm next going to be in the game. Am I going to be playing the game at that point? Or it's going to be 3 o'clock in the morning for me and I'll be sound asleep. And therefore, it's going to cost me another 6 hours. And that's the way I look at this one, is potentially it might shrink those times, and so that they're manageable in regards to my own life. Because they appear to be, a lot of them appear to be intentionally, trying to defeat that purpose. But that could be along with Captain Lockheed as far as being cynical on certain things. But, also I've played the game.
There's also 15% reduction on an 11-day upgrade. This isn't a great reduction. We need something pretty much more significant to make 11 days more palatable.
Yeah, like tokens.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm hoping at some point they come up with something like an Omni token that does them both. That will build your ship, will speed up a build, and will speed up an upgrade. I'm not sure if they're going to make them more valuable. Make those a TLC or a raid prize and get it out of the whole FM. Maybe decide they're giving us too many tokens in the FM, and so force us to earn them somewhere else. Yeah, because I think a lot of players thought it was odd that your generic build tokens, when they first saw this, didn't cover these upgrades. It almost feels like there's a next step potentially coming in my mind.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. I don't know. I would have preferred to have it, the ability to use the, like my generic tokens, which are the most, I consider at this point the most powerful tokens in the game, because you used to be able to do anything you wanted with them.
Yeah, well, the problem was they put the hull upgrades in our shipyards, which are busy building fleets and refitting fleets. So, yeah, we need the reduction, or we need the tokens, or the upgrades don't get done.
Yeah.
And if the upgrades get done, then the fleets don't get done. Can't do it all.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I just don't think they accidentally put it in their shipyard, but there's a reason for it. But should we go to the next one? All right, the Naval Lab. Yeah, we asked, or somebody asked, I think Ninja Penguin asked, I think, as far as why we only got the specials before. That's why the Naval Lab now has a reason to be upgraded, because now this is hull and turret armor. So now your armor on your ships, I'm not sure about the turret armor. Is base parts at this point takes care of that. So it's more your hull armor, and again we get the more the beefier reductions of 10, 20, and 30 as opposed to 5, 10, and 15 that we saw with the upgrade.
This might be the one to go to first.
This is the one to go to first.
Yeah.
Because most of us are building Praetorians now, right? And those things come with six armor slots. At the moment, we're looking at like almost 10 days to put on those 6 armor slots. So 30% reduction on that? Oh, yes, please.
Yeah, the armor at this point is way over. It takes way too long, in my opinion. One day, everything's like one day, not 4 hours, one day, 9 hours. And the Praetorian takes 6 of them. And we haven't even seen the armor yet that I think we're eventually going to get. So yeah, armor is, what did I figure it out? It was like, if it's going to be folded ferrite F3 or F2 or whatever, it's going to be like 42 days for a fleet just to put the armor on. So it's, this at this point of the ones we've gone through and what we're going to see soon, this is probably I agree, this is probably the first one I would go for. So, and the only problem I'm seeing with these, like 15 days of upgrade time is, we just solved the problem with our shipyard. Where I'm going with this is, if you're away from your base, somebody hits it and gets your naval lab, you potentially lost, 8 hours, 10 hours off of that time when could keep on getting extended. So, and a lot of people have certain labs out as part of their bubble pad. So that part's going to be tricky as well.
And that naval lab has like 1,000 hit points. If someone even looks at it hard, it goes up in flames.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard of magnifying glass from, don't even have to enter it. There's all sorts of, So that's the issue I'm going to see with people, and it's one of the reasons I think these building tokens are going to be in this shipwreck event, is so people can speed through some of these, and just be interesting to see how it all works. So let's see the next one. The retrofit lab, repair cost, PvP, not mega halls. So this is going to be interesting for a fair amount of people. I'm assuming this applies to your guard fleet as well. It may not, because certain things like your guard fleet doesn't repair. You don't get a bonus like in the raid on your guard fleet, or do you now? For some, because you don't get the extra 50% off. It doesn't go down to a quarter for your guard fleet being in that last spot. So I'm not sure if this applies at this point to just applies to ships that aren't in that spot. Okay. Any thoughts on this?
This will be the last one so far. This is the one I need the least.
This is the one you'll be completing next year?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Alrighty. Let's move on then. Weapons lab. Refit time on hull and turret weapons. Again, this is more about the hull. as the turret can be taken care of with base parts, unless they release some crazy stuff, or you want to take off an ECM or your glacial and put it on your portal. You know, which I've seen people suggest on in comms. No. Take your glacial and take it off your turret and put it on your portal. That's a whole well and good, except for it's going to take like 4 days to take it off, and then it's going to take another however long to slap it on your portal. So, you're going to be tied up for a long time doing something like that. But it's mostly about the hull weapons, in my opinion.
Well, this is number 2.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, Kettle.
10, 20, and 30%. Those are good numbers. And, the Howler has 10 weapon slots on it, right?
Yeah.
I'm just using that as an example. Mm-hmm. So that's, this is number 2.
Okay. All righty. Well, we might have one that's not been released. I think it's the next one. So they haven't released this one.
Oh, one other thing. I wonder if the OP gun is covered under this turret weapon thing.
It hasn't been associated with the turrets in other ways, so I'm not certain. This one hasn't been released yet, but I was told about this by one of the GDs right before the show, and was a lot of talk about it because they haven't come up with their values. The tactical lab will be a flat damage bonus for all base turrets. So I don't even know what the percentage is going to be. I mean, it could be plus 5, 10, 15, or plus 10, 20, 30. So it would help overcome deflections on incoming ships for your turrets and your base. Did this move up into your top 3?
Do you think that flat damage bonus means a percentage or an actual raw number? See,
this was made more conversationally than anything, because he knew I was doing the show, and it's more. I don't know. It could mean, plus, like I said, plus 15, or 5, 10, 15, or 10, 20, 30, or it could be 20,000 each. I don't know. The way I read it was implied to me, at least personally, was that it wasn't going to impact one ship over the other. But I do get your point, because they're trying to get away from percentages, because the percentages live too long. They live too long in the game when they give you, they may want to at one point have level 16, 17, and 18. And so, if we were given 30%, that might be a little too sweet to have. So I do get you that I think you're right. It's probably more likely to be 30,000, or, some flat number that'll be applied, because it's too easy for, 2 years from now, this will be hard for them to manage, because it'll seem overpowered to a certain extent.
Right, and if it is a flat damage bump that it's giving, then some tier 7 turrets might be able to actually be bumped high enough up to hurt some of the new tier 8 ships that are flying through. Whereas right now, so interesting, but doesn't change the top 3 though.
Okay. Ready? Anybody else have any thoughts on this?
I've got a question, Hefe.
Sure, Jordy.
I know it's terminology, and we know it kicks his history on that, but we're getting all excited, and it's talking about refits a lot of the time, not builds. Cuttlefish was just saying 10 weapons on a howler. I think we all know now what to put on a howler, not refit it as yet till anything new comes out. So it's not going to be a benefit to those that have anything built that they don't need to change the stuff on.
Well, normally the way that the refit mechanic works is if you build the bare hull and then you and it's considered a refit after that as far as most of the time savings that we've seen historically.
Yeah.
And for the last couple of weeks, can I get confirmation from anybody else? Because I forgot to check when my shipyard was empty, but the cost of taking weapons off has gone away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the way I can see this as being. I mean, a little bit tricky would be, you have the expert build where you can build the whole thing for a reduced cost. So I could see the refit not being factored into that. But I build, something with one weapon or a thud or whatnot. So everything's a refit after I built the bare hull. Is that sort of answer your question, or am I still?
It kind of does, but it's going to be a long time till a lot of them are relevant for a lot of people, aren't they? If you've got 5 howlers built now,
Yeah,
it's going to be a while before that particular building's relevant.
It's going to take you a while to get all those buildings up anyway, so it'll be okay.
Well, we'll have another four fleets by then.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if you have
Four
one
new hull,
howler built and you want to build another one, that's already kicked in if you have that bonus. Because if you build the bare hull and then slap those weapons on, in theory you should be getting that refit bonus at that point, unless you've gone with the idiotic idea of no expert builds, and I'm going to create up a 30 or 20 day build for myself that's going to. I don't even think we can afford it in titanium. I don't even know. No, we can afford it because the max PVE build is going to be 400,000, and we can hold 500,000. So you can do it now. But
also remember that in 2 weeks it is the hull raid where we will be building a brand new raid fleet. So build a Thud 1 special that will cut down the build time on that next raid fleet. We're going to be mounting a lot of weapons.
Yep. Maybe. Yeah. I did notice today that that Golden Doodles post associated with the upcoming cycles after this has been. Now it's on page 5. So, if you want to still comment on it, as far as the whole idea of having a 2-month. Basically a 2-month raid cycle, the way I read it. It's on page 5 if you still want to comment on it. Do we have any more? Yeah.
Last one.
Yeah, this is the last one. This is sort of the generic cost for the last 3 levels. They're not all 13, 14, and 15, but it's 4.5 days plus, 5.5 days plus, 6 days plus for these. Uranium cost isn't that bad at all. Time, but that's going to be in the shipwreck event as far as getting these tokens. But 6, 11, 15, 16, 17, about 17 days for each one of these. So,
as a note, the 2 levels of upgrades I did on the intelligence lab are distinctly lower than that.
Okay.
Currently.
Okay.
You're cracking everybody in your intelligence labs.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I think mine's already done. So, and we're also. Can you go all the way back to the first slide that we showed? Don't fall over. All right. I think I moved it from the there was originally, because I've been updating this calendar ever since Chris put together his diary, and if anybody's noticed, he actually used one version of it to update his, and even though I had some typos in it, but the there was a second new building content and price adjustments, which is, I guess it fell off after I asked him about it. So I guess that should be coming soon as well. So just throwing that out there that, I've got on my portals to 3 now. That was my hope. I think a lot of people were hoping to see their shipyards adjusted during this process, because I know people are still waiting on that because they don't want to have any downtime. So, but I'm going to take you off present, Lady Cat. I think we've covered everything.
Okay.
So, and the link is still on the right-hand side in case anybody would like to join. So, what else have we got to discuss?
Do you want to talk about the upgrades to the Breacher and the Basilisk?
Sure. I can. Let me. I'll get the slides out. Ready for that one.
Slide number.
16.
Okay.
Because, see, I would like to talk about them because the people are terrified about the Basilisk one and totally ignoring the Breacher one, which I think is contrary to what should be done. The Breacher one, you only need one of these because it has an aura cap. It will hit all of your ships. Right? It gives all of your other attacking ships a huge deflection boost. Well, not huge, but decent deflection boost with no range. So if you can get one Breacher to U2 and have it doing donuts at on the outside of the base somewhere, your Howlers will go in and get all these extra deflections, or whatever ships you're using. That's really nice. You only need to upgrade one ship to get that advantage. The Basilisk one.
Well, except for you mentioned the Howler. Howler.
That's not going to work.
Ships. But it says ships. It doesn't say it only affects breachers.
It says ships.
Yeah.
When moving, the Breacher Dreadnought U2 gains increased defensive bonus over a short period of time.
So
It's an
Could
aura.
build a crap of 1.
make it do donuts.
No, it's.
Does it not hit the other ships?
It's in that flavor text above. It doesn't normally, because if you read through like Eradicators, it's not going to affect all ships unless they messed up. It's
fair enough. That's the way I read it, and it is an aura,
and it is a little weird. It's a little weird because the U2, it appears that it's only self-infecting or self-affecting, because the Breacher, it mentions the upgrade level too. So it might just impact itself, if you understand what I mean.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
It only affects itself.
All right. It's that aura. When I hear aura, I think an aura, not just a kind of like a self buff. But all right.
But it says it's friendly and it affects ships. It doesn't.
And there's no range. A lot of times when you look at there's no range, it's sometimes just self-affecting at that point.
Well, good question to ask them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Controversy. But the Basilisk one. Well, to get a good mortar fleet, you're going to need more than one of these basilisks, right? One of them, regardless of what mortars you put on it and what range it has on it, isn't going to do a significant chunk to anyone's base. Not in any reasonable amount of time. So to get a decent mortar basilisk fleet, you're going to be spending just huge amounts of time upgrading your basilisks.
Yeah, because they're 10 days.
Yeah.
Or 11 days, but basically 11 days. 10 days, 23 hours, 40 minutes. So
And I don't know too many people that actually did the upgrade one on the basilisk.
I've got one.
Well, all right, I have one too. I mean, but
Yeah,
you know,
but that's it.
yeah.
They're too long. It's way too long.
And you need 500 kits to upgrade any of these things to upgrade to.
Yeah.
Have you looked and seen how many kits are actually in the Basilisk TLC?
Well, they're also in the bounty. You can get 1,500. No, hang on. It's 100 each, and you get 15. Yeah, 1,500 in that. In the TLC, hang on. What is it? Let's have a look. TLC, you get. Hang on, where is it? 10 kits. 10 kits in the first one, in level 1. 30 kits in the second one. 40 kits in Prize Pack 3, and then 40 kits times 3 in the Mastery. And they're 100 each. So
I think that's 200.
200, is it? It doesn't actually say, does it? It doesn't actually say how many are in a kit.
Yeah, the TLC does give 200 because I'm 10 short of being able to do a second U1.
200? Okay,
Yeah.
so, well, if you're getting 10 kits, 200. Huh?
The 200 total.
How much you get in a kit? 200 in a kit.
No, the kits are individual, aren't they?
Well, it says like Prize Pack 1, Basilisk Upgrade Kit times 10.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
That's
10.
in Prize Pack 1.
And you need 200 of them to go up to upgrade 2. Or to go to upgrade 1. And then to upgrade 2, you need an additional 500.
A kit is 1. So 10 is, you need 199 more kits to do U1.
Where does it say it's only 1?
That's what it is. A kit, A, singular, times 10 is 10 of.
Has anybody actually done it? The TLC?
Yeah, I've done it.
And how was it? It said it required legendary ships, so...
It was a bit.
Oh, yeah.
It seemed a bit tougher than last time.
Yeah, it is tougher than last time.
I've got Shrikes and two Shrikes fully built, 5 in the fleet, and Eradicators, so I can do it and then just relax and repair for a while. But I imagine anybody with just Eradicators would need to be fine.
Need 20.
Well, let's see. Do I want to do the FM, or do I want to do the TLC, or do I want to do Bounty? Or do I want to go to the beach? I don't know.
No, I mean, with the amount I got in the bounty at the very beginning, all I want is the 3 heavy turrets, really. So...
That's all that I wanted. I still have to get the new weapon. So I don't know how good that'll be, but
Which
The new
weapon is
weapon
that?
for the Mega?
no, there's a It wasn't there a new turret weapon, or was that for the Mega
No, there was a cannon you didn't have, wasn't there?
something? But maybe I don't need it. Then I'm done with bounty. Woohoo!
What was it named?
It was the one you were joking about.
The flurry launcher?
The flurry launcher. Is that a Mega weapon?
Yeah, it's a mega
Yes.
weapon.
Oh,
Yeah.
then I'm
Yeah.
done with bounty.
Yeah. Okay.
I got the 3 heavy turrets.
So you're good.
Yeah.
The McFlurry launcher.
Yeah, that was
Well, I was calling it the furry launcher, but yeah, that's launching stuffed animals at whoever got in its path. But yeah. Well, do we have much else for the live show? Any other
Well,
things we should be discussing?
one thing that isn't there are two things in this prize list which are surprising. One, the Night Watch countermeasure still isn't here. That hasn't been available for like 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
I have some alliance mates that still are looking for that. And we didn't get another plate, armor plate at level 8. We're missing the ballistic one and the explosive one. I was kind of expecting one to be in here.
The one, well, yeah, they seem to ignore the lower level players because, you're well aware, the tier 8 hulls don't accept countermeasures. But the tier 8 Conqueror hulls don't accept countermeasures. And we're supposed to, the Gorgon, from the hints we've seen, that does accept countermeasures, so we might see that. I think it's coming out somehow associated with pillage, because it's same week and there's no other event going on. And Saltwater on general chat talked about that there has been discussions that it's going to have some countermeasure capability. Don't know if that's built in or that's associated with any weapon slots that it has. The one that I was surprised that was missing was the Carnage. It was only available in last bounty, not made available anywhere else, and it's not in this bounty. So my only hope is that it's available in the next raid.
Isn't there a Carnage skin in here?
There is a skin. Yeah.
That's
But,
hilarious.
Yeah. The skin's there, but yeah. The actual blueprint for the hull is not available. So, yeah, I didn't. The bounty list has gotten so long. I need to talk to Chris or somebody, see if he'll give me like the Excel spreadsheet of. I just don't. I don't. Reformatting all those is not pages and pages and pages, because bounty used to be a short list, like 2 slides. Now it's like 7 slides of not things I'm not sure that the players that watch the show care about to see all of them. If they watch the show, they're willing to go through the list and take a good look at it. So I just try and talk about the new stuff or the stuff that I think they would be interested in, as opposed to 100 and some prizes and bounty. So, I guess the other thing that we should touch on is what are people doing with their Praetorians? I have a very limited build going on at this point. I'm trying to get them to certain levels, and I'm making some changes to my Nemesis, but I don't want to build too far with them, for fear that I'm going to have to strip stuff off, and because I don't think the engine's there, I don't think the armor's there. I think we're missing 3-4 specials. I'm not even completely sold in the fact that we have the right countermeasures.
I'm putting 4 weapons on and 1 special so far.
Yeah.
Well, two specials: the battery, the explosive battery, and the glial system.
Okay, forgot about the explosive battery, but so far just the glial.
Yeah.
It's a slow process.
The Praetorian is a great ship to build. It's nice and you can build it super sloppy. I have 4 rockets on mine, a Gale 4, a MDS 3, 2 empty weapon slots, no armor, and I have filled up these specials. Yeah, I know some of them are wrong. I know. But that does a 120 on auto for 10 minutes of damage.
Okay.
I'm golden. You know, this can be built with if you take off the countermeasures and just run the 4 rockets, and with like half the specials gone, engine, no battery, no alloy, you'll do the 120s for like 30 to 40 minutes on auto. This thing is a beast. Just don't worry about the armor yet. Just slap it together as best you can and throw it into 120s. It will take care of itself. There are people out there with builds that are doing it for instant 120s for instant map repair.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I've always driven them. I've accidentally autoed a couple of them due to and I was for my dragons. Even before I finished refitting them, it was like 40 minutes of damage on auto, but I'm still getting, and I haven't even refit with the new weapon. And in dock, it's about a minute repair if I drive with waypoints, and I know people can get way better than that. But I have all the I got the 20 tokens, and I think I've used 3 days of them. 20 normal tokens, and then 10 of the other ones. I still have a bunch left, just because I wasn't sure what new tech was going to drop. To give me a transition period with my dragons with the new tech, because a lot of the specials don't add a lot of weight. It's percentage weight. It's not a. It's going to be very similar to what you had before, so that's why I've been keeping some, conserving my tokens and waiting. Does that make? You understand what I'm saying? The dragons, especially, I spent some time getting the Greta to U3, and that I did that during the last raid because I wasn't sure what else I was going to be building, and that's that might be a path for some people because if you use it as a tank and you get both the 600 structure deflection at U2, and then you got the aura at U3 that covers the rest of your ships, because the rest of my ships don't, they're all instant repair. And most of the time it's, 30 seconds, a minute on my flag, on the Greta. So, you can hit it from both sides, I guess is what I'm saying. You could work with the Praetorian, or you could work with the dragons with the free tokens that you have.
Yeah, I just think that if you're using real time, you should be using it on the Praetorians, because.
Oh yeah, I'm not spending real time on my after the Praetorians came out, because I only have one at U2 of my normal ones. So I agree with you.
See, I expected there to be a much longer transition between dragons and Praetorians. So long enough that I actually took the explosive batteries that were supposed to go on my Praetorians, and I refit my dragons with them.
I put one on my Greta,
and now I've had to grab one of them back off and put it on my Praetorians, because this thing works with barely anything on it. So, oh well.
Yeah, and that's in a big part due to what? The fact that they're slowly releasing the technology, and they're not trying to shock people with the FM. Because right now, I don't expect a change in the targets until after the next raid. Then I sort of expect a change. we're going to start to see a devaluing of the economy associated with the 120 and the 121. And the Praetorian is going to be really seeing value added. I mean, you're seeing a lot of value added by going on auto, but for the people that drive, if it's 30 seconds repair or instant repair and dock, it's not awful.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And I just didn't expect the Praetorians to be able to stand up until we actually put the right armor on there. And no, they stand up without armor.
Well, once they did that PvE refactor, the survivability or whatever is not quite the same as the old resistance armor, because they made up for it by giving us, we went from, they've 7,000, they've multiplied the armor by 6 or 7, 10 times, depending on what the hull was. So it's captured in that armor with the same repair times. So, yeah, it is it doesn't have the same impact because they mollified that by just increasing the armor hugely. So, alrighty. So should we go to the after show? I mean, we've had a lot of good topics today. I think it's been a very good open mic. Much better than the Wednesday show. Everybody had to wait for 45 minutes before I can start it up.
I don't remember the Wednesday show.
Yeah, but it's probably good.
Do you know I left?
Oh, the 6-pack's done. Yeah. No, you don't remember? You honestly don't remember that show?
Specifically, I know that I was on it, but I just don't remember the content.
Okay. All righty.
I bet you don't remember the after show then, Mike.
What's that?
I bet you don't remember the after show then.
No, I actually think I was testing some strange liquid that day, and for some reason.
Yeah.
Oh well.
And he has a new tattoo, everybody. Are you going to show us on the after show?
On the after
a new
show.
tattoo you got that night?
On the after show, yeah.
Yeah, on the after show. Okay. All right. If we don't have anything else, even though we've, like I said, we brought up a lot of, I think the group has brought up a lot of good new topics, and I think it was a great show. And I put the link in case anybody would like to join. You guys want to wrap it up? We've been going for over an hour, so we can go longer. But I'm just making sure that nobody has anything they want to get out to the people.
No, I'm good.
No.
Okay. All righty. Well, we'll see you all on Wednesday, if not before. And I did post below the show a link to another channel because of the problem that we had last week, which was weird. I didn't work around it. I just spent hours and hours, and now things work. It wasn't my computer. It was something weird going on with YouTube, and I don't know that I prevented that from happening. So if you want to subscribe to that other channel, in case that's more my personal channel, you can go there, and in case it shows up there, for people that subscribe to the show and only see us through the YouTube subscriptions, as opposed to where I post on different Facebook sites or Discord, that might be the place to go. And subscribe to that just so you know it's happening, because I know a lot of people missed the it wasn't a huge amount. A lot of people, I was so surprised that after 45 minutes of me not being able to figure out what to do, we still had a ton of people show up. Wait the 45 minutes. It was. I was really surprised. I'm incredibly surprised that everybody did that. So thank you all, and see you all on Wednesday, if not before.
Good night.
Night, people.
Have a good night, everyone.